Welcome to this edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where three mostly normal and somewhat cynical adults discuss life as members of the TV generation.
Yes.
Now here are your hosts, Darth Jada, Jason Mitchell, and Adam B.
Hello.
Welcome.
We are back again. Sorry, it's been a long week and it's only Tuesday.
I know, for the love of God.
Yeah. But we are Hindsight is Horrifying. I am Jason.
Wait,
what?
we're who? I'm on the wrong show.
You've been on the wrong show for a couple
For
years
like
now.
3 years
Yeah.
now. Oh, God.
Ho.
Oh,
What
yeah.
did you call me?
Oh, no, I would never say that in public. Oh,
In
shit.
public.
We got 3 million viewers.
That's what he calls me when we're alone.
And we're off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a good one.
Oh, hell yes.
We are doing some Christmassy things.
We are kicking off Christmas hard.
Yeah, because the law says that, in December we have to do Christmas stuff.
Yes.
I guess. It's
Upbeat-
what people expect. So
Upbeat Christmas movies.
Yes.
That's what we do. Upbeat Christmas movies.
Oh,
that's going to be
you
an
not
interesting
watch this one?
conversation. Darth, why don't you tell the ladies and gentlemen what we are watching to kick off the Christmas season?
well, given my undying obsession with Mel Gibson, we are watching...
Me too.
we are watching a movie called Fatman, where Mel Gibson actually plays kind of an R-rated Santa. Not even kind of, a very R-rated Santa. He's a good guy at his core, but the problem is that, I'll just give you the synopsis. So, to save his declining business, Kris Kringle, Mel Gibson, also known as Santa Claus, is forced into a partnership with the military. Meanwhile, and I don't like the use of this word, meanwhile, a precocious 12-year-old
Precocious.
hires a hitman to
That
kill
precocious Hitler.
I know, to kill Santa after receiving a lump of coal in his stocking.
He's scamping all over Germany and Europe.
That precocious Charles Manson.
Yeah. Oh, look at that imp.
That precocious Bundy.
Would you say he's a jaded Santa?
Oh, God.
I had to do it. I just had to do it. I'm sorry.
Go sit over there.
I'm gonna go. So this movie, Fat Man,
Yes.
is the name of the movie. I
Yes.
don't actually think we said that.
Yes, I did.
I'm kidding. Okay. It's okay.
I thought it was
It's okay.
Batman
It's okay.
at first. They got all excited. And
So-
then it was Fat Man.
I'm gonna go ahead and lay this out right now. I liked the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the movie,
Okay.
but I think there was a real problem with tone. And we'll kind of get into that as the movie goes on. I think it's a very flawed movie, and I suspect that someone at a certain level stuck their hands into the creative process and made it go one way or the other at
Okay.
points. But we'll get into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, yeah, you have this, I'm going to call him a psychotic little 12-year-old boy because he's kind of like the child version, the evil child version of Tony Stark. He's obviously a brilliant inventor, and he hangs his hat on winning the science fair every single year at school. And even his grandma, when he goes out the door to attend the science fair, she's like, oh, get another ribbon for me. That's what winners do. And so he's being raised by his grandma. You never really meet his parents. They're absent. And you only even hear mention of his father. He never mentions a mother. But his father's always working or off traveling with his girlfriend, and he clearly doesn't invest in his son. So this psychotic little bastard goes to the science fair and comes in second place and then hires the hitman to actually scare the living shit out of this poor 12-year-old girl because she beat him at the science fair.
Yeah, the girl is, like you said, he hires a hitman. And at first I thought, Jesus, because you see the hitman played by
Walton Goggins.
Walton-
One of my
Walton Goggins.
favorite. Oh, he's such a great actor.
He is amazing,
Yeah,
isn't he?
you
In
see-
everything he does.
Yeah, he's really good.
He does a specific type of crazy incredibly well. Like
Yes.
he's been an evil character. Well, not even evil. He's been kind of the villainous character in Justified, where he played Boyd Crowder across from Timothy Olyphant, and that was a great series. If you haven't seen it, watch it. But he was in Sons of Anarchy as a transvestite hooker.
Ooh, I
He
haven't
was-
seen that. I like the sound of that.
Well, I loved his tagline because he said, "I am the bell that does not tell," and it's hilarious. So, but yeah, Walton Goggins strong arms this poor 12-year-old girl into basically falsely admitting that she cheated at the science fair.
He doesn't.
Well, he's the one who has
he delivers the girl
He's the muscle.
to the kid, who then threatens her with electrocution on various parts of the human anatomy, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And
one clamp on one nipple, one clamp on the other, and all 12 volts right across the heart.
Wow, what were you up to this weekend? I don't want to know.
I was part of the agency at one time. That's what we did.
Dear.
That's what we did.
So, continue.
Well, and I think that's sort of the problem I have going back to the tone. This movie doesn't actually seem to know what it wants to be. It doesn't know if it wants to be a Quentin Tarantino movie. It doesn't know if it wants to be a, Richard Donner-esque action movie. It doesn't know if it wants to be a comedy.
Well,
it doesn't. You're right. It's they send very strange signals, because in the beginning, when the girl is kidnapped by the hitman, you think he's going to kill her because he literally just killed 2 people before when he gets the phone call, to get the job.
Yeah, he's murdering people while he's taking another call.
Here I go murdering again.
Here I go killing.
So when it turns out that it's just the boy and he's not going to kill her, it's sort of like, okay, well, the movie's got a limit. That's the boundary of the movie. Okay, I can see the boundary here. And then they just start killing people and killing people and shooting and blood. And I don't care about violence in movies, but it just felt out of place.
Yeah, and the thing is, I feel like they didn't follow through with Walton Goggins' storyline.
No, they did not.
They had this huge setup at the beginning where he buys precious items that people have received for Christmas throughout their childhoods, and he's like, how much is your childhood Christmas happiness worth, or something to that effect. And you think that there's going to be some payoff with that, and you don't know what his vendetta against Santa is, but then it doesn't make any sense why he's angry at Santa. Like, be angry at God, because it turns out, hindsight or spoiler alert, his parents used to abuse him and burn him with cigarettes. So somehow he decided that that's Santa Claus's fault.
Well, and it was like he got coal every year except for one, when he got a little police car. Yeah, and I agree with you. It's sort of like, one, I don't know why he's doing this, but his whole character is a contradiction, because on the one hand, he's going around and he's doing hitman, ultra badass hitman things, but it's obvious. It's like 1980s comedy movie where it's like, well, wouldn't they see him going in there? Wouldn't there be people?
Yeah, at one point he's in a car just across the street from his victim, and he doesn't have a mask on or anything to conceal his identity.
Right, and that's a comedy trope. That's like, okay, well, he's the
bumbling assassin.
Yeah,
but he's actually pretty damn good.
Well, no, not bumbling. He's like a character in Fletch, or something like that.
Sort
it's
of
a comedy
I
character.
can see it. Yeah,
but then you take that same person and he's just killing people.
Yeah.
Like killing, the elves and the mailman.
Everybody.
Yeah.
He just slaughters everyone in his... Because I guess that's his way of covering his tracks.
He kills with impunity.
Yeah. Well, nothing can touch him. He's a super killer. I mean, the U.S. Army couldn't kill him.
No. But
which I had a problem with that scene, too.
Yeah, it was a little off the beaten path for sure. And you're right, Jason. This movie comes at you from a lot of different directions. And the poor girl that the 12-year-old boy is bullying, and his name is Billy in this movie, I think. So I think.
It doesn't matter.
His name is Chance in real life. Chance Hurstfield. I know, what a stage name. But so
of the Delaware Hurstfield.
And here's an important aspect of it too. Since Billy lives with his grandma, she's kind of wheelchair ridden, and she mostly just lives upstairs in her own room. And there are servants surrounding them, so they clearly have tons of money. And the kid somehow has access to all the banking and spends his grandmother's money with impunity, and just spends it on a hitman multiple times. Just whenever he gets bested or pissed off in life, he's got the hitman on speed dial.
Yeah, and I actually did like the fact that the kid was stealing the money from his grandmother. And you're sort of suspending disbelief and going, okay, well, I guess that's just a movie thing. She's an old lady. She doesn't know. But then it actually does. It actually does come back. There's a consequence for him doing that.
Yes, and he's not used to any consequences whatsoever.
Yeah.
And we can get to that point with the grandma later because it's the very end of the movie, and it leads to that frightening monologue from Mel Gibson. And
Which I liked that.
Yeah, that
it
was
was
good.
Yeah, I
awesome.
liked that.
I loved it.
Well, let's talk about Mel.
Yes,
Let's talk about Mel.
I love talking about Mel.
Mel Gibson is just he can't not be cool
Oh, I know.
or badass.
It's just automatic. Even as Santa Claus, because I was like, okay, how is this going to work? Mel Gibson is this tremendous force of an actor, and but he does it. He's basically just
because he's not playing Santa Claus.
no, he's
Yeah.
playing this rundown, defeated older man who used to be successful, and he's worried about the state of affairs in the world because he hears about like kids throwing a bowling ball off an overpass and causing a huge wreck, and he's like, there's just no decency in the world. And the military approaches him because he's got like a subsidy for being Santa Claus and
For delivering gifts. Well, the more gifts he delivers, I guess.
Yeah, because like
Correct.
it's good for the economy
Yes,
if
yes.
Santa Claus is doing this, but if it's good for the economy because people are buying presents.
yeah, it's the people buying the presents that boosts it, not Santa making them and
Yeah,
delivering them.
He's a
But-
catalyst. He's a stimulus
Yeah,
package.
I'm willing to just accept that.
yes.
But the thing that threw me was that, like in the trailer, you have this, gentlemen, this is a one-time thing, and the army showing up, and you see cuts of, Mel Gibson shooting the gun at
It
cans.
kind of implies that he's an assassin.
Yeah, it makes it. The whole time I was like, okay, so they're gonna hire him to go off and do a Rambo thing,
Yeah.
but it's like, no, he just is. He's got a really, really efficient, good operation, and he can make parts for a fighter
Yeah.
faster
I
than
wrote it down.
Lockheed.
Yeah.
But they're also bombs,
who knows?
because later on,
FJ-63 fighter jets.
yeah,
The Eagle
just-
of the sky.
yeah, the Thunderkook and Falconbird. Yeah, it's, well, yeah, whatever.
Well, and he's got this sense of honor about him. So when he goes to the bar, because he drinks constantly and he overeats. I mean, he's Santa, and they have him like with a plate of cookies riding around in his Ford. And Ford clearly paid for a ton of advertising in this movie because you see the hood of that Ford about 50
The
billion
bad guy was in
times.
a Plymouth.
Right.
Yeah, an all black Plymouth because everything about him is black, which again is a comedy trope.
Yeah, but Mel Gibson's omniscient to a certain degree as Santa Claus, and he uses that power for good when he can. Like when he goes to the bar and he notices this guy flirting with the bartender with whom he clearly has a rapport. He's
They're
like,
gonna go bang.
oh, they were going
I mean,
to,
yeah,
but
it was
then
explicit.
He
Yeah.
completely cockblocks the guy. He's like, oh, hey, how's the wife at home? How are the kids doing?
Yeah.
If you drive all night tonight, you can
Yeah.
get home in time for Christmas.
Yeah.
And
Well,
just,
and he says she doesn't respect the bonds of marriage like you and I do.
yeah, completely
You
manipulating
know,
the guy.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't make me hurt you, dude.
Yeah.
Who is this old guy? He's creeping me out. I better get out of here.
It's
And he's
fucking
like-
Mel Gibson.
And he even asks, he's like, who are you, man? He's like, I'm the guy who's buying your beer. Get the hell out. Like,
Yeah.
So he's protecting his bartender friend, which is pretty noble, but he scares the hell out of people to do it, and he manipulates them with their personal information. So
Well, that's again part of the mishmash tone is like this scene is like a Western scene, and
Yeah.
Mel Gibson's scenes outside
you
of
got
the
until
workshop.
noon tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah, there's like this Western feel, and then there's this Grosse Point Blank feel with Walton Goggins, and when they come together, it I don't know. When the fat man and the thin man were on screen together, I felt like that was really weak, And why did Santa even care if he knew that he could be stabbed 3 times and then he'd be okay enough?
That was the thing I had questions about too. His healing process is strange in this universe because he first gets hurt when some kids are like shooting some sort of flak into the air, like shooting guns or something, and it grazes him when he's in his sleigh delivering the gifts on Christmas Eve. And
When he's got scars, he's got like a bullet scar.
yeah, he's been
Yeah.
shot like multiple times.
Yeah.
Well, of course he would be. Comes down a chimney. Someone's gonna,
Yeah.
Well,
someone's
yeah.
gonna pop
Well,
him.
it's like Dean Martin said, I don't care who you are, fat man, get those goddamn reindeer off my roof.
That's right.
But yeah, so he heals slowly, but he's basically invincible. So
Well, yeah, and she says, going
it'll
to,
heal in the usual way when his wife is expressing
Yeah.
concern.
And so, okay, is there a consequence? Is there not? And then there's an explicit line that it's, well, giving is what makes him young. Seven, the elf, says giving makes him young. So I thought that was setting up whenever he was really wounded at the end.
I guess since he's not giving as much, because that was why the government tried to get him to do the military contract and took away some of his money, because they were like, you're delivering too much coal. We need you to deliver gifts. And he was like, it's not my fault that the state of the world is the way that it is. These kids deserve this coal. That's what they get this year. And it's just so like
big boon for the coal industry.
Well, clearly, his conditioning,
he's keeping Virginia
his
afloat.
conditioning is not working. It's like they get the coal, they don't change their ways, right?
No, it actually makes them worse, because the reason why Billy decides to hire, and he doesn't have a name, he's just called Skinny Man, the hitman.
They do say his name in the end, because the fat man says his name.
He knows him.
He knows who he
he's
is.
listed as Skinny Man.
You poor twisted child. Is that what he said? Yeah.
Because and he even faces off with him and shows him the lack of logic in his hatred for Santa. He's like, I can't fix your parents. That's not what I'm here to do. That's not the purpose of Santa Claus. And so Billy gets a lump of coal for Christmas as well. And so he decides to hire the hitman to off Santa.
Yeah. And it always seems to be a theme for a lot of these holiday Santa shows.
Yeah.
That Santa quits because he's disappointed. Remember A Year Without a Santa Claus from the 1972 or something like that with Heat Miser and Ice Miser?
That's been, I think they've remade that by now.
Yeah. But he was just tired of all these good-for-nothing punk kids. What, do kids ever get better, or are they just always good-for-nothing punk kids? I got 2 teenagers, and pretty convinced they're good for nothing punk kids.
Well,
hope you're not listening.
Don't forget
children.
it's not so much the being punks as being stupid.
Yeah.
And because I am a former teen boy.
You're not currently a teen boy?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I got out of that game a long time ago. And I remember being an idiot, a complete idiot. I mean, from the age of about 12 to probably 18. I think I smartened up maybe 18, 19, a little bit.
Can you
I was
give
still
us an example? Like, what do you mean you were an idiot? Like,
well, wait, let me see. What's the statute of limitations?
He probably drank and drove a few times.
Oh,
right?
I once, I think I've told you this, the stupidest thing I ever did, ever. I drove a car up to 120 miles an hour.
You did tell me this.
Yeah, a car that probably shouldn't have been going 20 miles an hour. And the steering wheel was literally shaking back and forth. I was
like
on a
it being an
long
actor
country
in a movie.
road. Yeah, no, it was like that. That's the only time you ever drive like that. Didn't die.
Clearly.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Unless you are dead and we're in some sort of purgatory, which is why we
Wait,
keep
would I be in the purgatory? Or like all three of us?
I don't know.
We're all together because we all did stupid things. And
I'm looking let's your costume again as you say that.
yes.
Well, and plus, like, sometimes you just do stupid things for the experience. Like, we used to jump off this 30-foot rock ledge in the Chattahoochee River when they would release the dam when the water was deeper, but we could have gotten so hurt doing that.
Well, there's a reason why, whenever a country wants to go to war, they get a bunch of like post-teen and
Young
late
people.
teen guys.
Who are invincible.
They're invincible and they're
Absolutely.
stupid.
Yeah. Well,
But
they say your frontal lobe isn't fully developed to 25, 26, at least with the male.
I can see
with,
that.
With girls, it's a little earlier. That's a big reason why our drinking age is what it is in this country, because if you... my friend has this theory that if you start drinking at a very young age, that's basically where you drop anchor, intellectually speaking, and you never really grow past that.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
I never thought of that
Yeah,
before.
that actually is sort of an interesting...
Because, the substances that, like, cloud your mind or stunt your growth or whatever, like, and start putting holes in your brain depending on the severity of the drugs that you're using. I really agree with that theory, because it's like you just drop anchor. Because you see some people who had a real drug problem when they were younger, and they're all kind of just, like, addled.
Still living at home in their parents' basement?
Yeah.
I got some friends like that.
But they're, like, almost absent. It's like not all the lights are on, and it's not because they're stupid. It's because they destroyed their brains way too early in life and never developed them.
So this is very much like Fatman. And
We're so good at staying on topic. You guys.
Yeah.
well, actually, I wanted to bring it back because the world's oldest captain just showed up.
I know. I did see that. I was
It's
like,
like
clearly he was prior enlisted for like 15 years and got his commission.
He's like one foot out the door. They threw him some bars. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
God, can we
Last
talk
thing
about
he wa-
Mrs. Claus? Even when she gets angry, she's so wholesome because when the military comes and tries to shove their weight around and sort of manipulate Santa into manufacturing the fighter jets, she's like, "This has been one humdinger of time," and like she's not even cursing. She's just so wholesome.
Well, I kind of like the idea that somebody as old as her and as wise and who has seen so many things doesn't feel the need to curse, you know. But when it comes time to kill,
oh man, she let it rip.
I mean, she'll
And I have met her in real life.
really.
Marianne Jean-Baptiste.
Marianne Jean-Baptiste played Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter.
Wait, what?
She played Hermione
Oh,
Granger.
in Cursed Child. Okay,
Cursed
when
Child,
Hermione
yeah.
would have been older. That
She
makes
was-
sense.
she was the mother.
Oh.
Yeah, Hermione. So yeah, when Ed took me backstage, I met them all. She was delightful.
Oh
She's
my
a very
God.
sweet lady. Yes.
You live such a charmed life.
She's been
I'm
in
so
about
jealous.
a million things.
Yeah,
too.
she
Oh,
has.
yes,
And where do you
yes.
know her from? I know her from The Cell with Jennifer Lopez and Vince Vaughn.
Ooh.
Underrated movie.
It scared the living hell
Yeah.
out of me, and I've only seen it once. So
Not as good as. Wait. That's the one where it's sort of the virtual reality.
it's like she's trapped in her own
The
mind
red dress
or
movie.
something. Yeah, the red
Yeah, the
dress.
red dress.
The red
movie.
dress
Yeah.
movie. Yes.
And that dress. Oh my god.
Not memorable at all for Jason, apparently.
No, I mean, I just
Girl, you are wearing that dress.
that's what I remember. It's like that episode of Archer in Dreamland.
Yeah.
Oh, and that dress. Oh my god, that dress. No, but that
Speaking of
that was
Archer.
an underrated movie.
It was. All I could think of when Walton Goggins does go to assassinate Santa, he's got this big white coat on. He's walking through the woods, and it reminded me of the episode with Timothy Oliphant.
Oh yes,
You
yes, yes.
Twin Oaks. Do you like that dude? Twin Oaks. And it turns out Archer got date raped by his friend.
But see, again,
Yes.
that's by that point that happens pretty late in the movie when he gets the white coat.
Right.
Yes.
And by that point, I was confused enough as to whether it was a comedy or a dark comedy.
Because
or-
especially the selection process that he goes through for picking out the coat,
it's
they
comedy,
clearly let
yeah.
him riff on that because he's like, "Oh, camo's ugly. I look fat and tan. Green is stupid."
Green is stupid.
And then he decides on the white coat.
Yeah, and like he looks at it and it's like, you know, Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber saying something.
Yes.
That's the one.
You
Yeah,
sure have good
um,
taste in coats, mister.
They did try to, grab at comedy, like with Santa going after the cookies all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Just little tidbits. Though the rest of it did have a kind of a dark
Yeah,
feel to the whole thing.
I would have been happy if the bad guy had. And again, I don't want to sound like I don't like violence in movies. I'm fine with violence in movies. You know?
and
But
it's
it
not-
just seeing those soldiers, like the one soldier gets shot in the throat, and the guy's like, "Hold, pinch it tight, boy.
Yeah,
Come
trying
on,
to
son,
plug his
do
Just
it."
gotta let him
Yeah.
go.
Jeez,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
dark.
not funny.
Well, and once again, you're right. It doesn't make sense in some spaces, especially when Walton Goggins initially tries to turn down the contract to kill Santa. Billy,
Did he?
Yeah, he's like, "Nope, that's going too far. I'm not going to do that." But you
I thought
think
that was whenever Billy asked to cut his head off.
that comes up later.
Okay.
So at first he's like, "No, I'm not. That's going too far. I'm not going to kill this guy." And you're like, "Wait a minute, don't you hate Santa too? Wouldn't you be more motivated to do this, especially if you're getting paid?" Then later, Billy gets really vicious, and he's like, "Yeah, I want you to." And they completely forgot about that conversation later in the movie because
What was the point of that scene? What was the point of that conversation?
just to show how vindictive Billy is, I guess. But he was like, "I want his head," and he goes, "Absolutely not. You're talking so much liability on my part. No, I'll give you his coat." And the kid's like, "Okay, fine."
And again,
But
was that
then-
supposed to be funny?
Yeah, you gotta. But then he goes to the farm where Santa lives, and he's like, "I'm gonna take your damn head." And it's like, when did he change his mind about that? It's just a little inconsistent
Yeah.
throughout. And I think you said this off camera. Like, if Mel Gibson wasn't in this movie, most people wouldn't have watched it. I would have because I love Walton Goggins, and I think he's great as a villain, and he does weird really well.
He's not enough to have gotten me to watch it.
I don't think he is for a lot of people, but I like him. So.
This was Mel Gibson. And I think part of the problem I had was there wasn't nearly enough Mel Gibson doing interesting things. There was plenty of Mel
There's
Gibson.
Never enough Mel Gibson.
Well, there was a lot of Mel Gibson walking around talking, and that's fine. But when you've got another character that's out doing cool, adventure-y, fun things,
yeah, it's really more about the skinny man.
It's really about it kind of should be
That's
him.
the through line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
should
think
be on the
it's a skinny
top.
man.
but I'd be
it's not
interested to
Bill.
see who got more camera time, either him or Mel.
I think he
because-
did.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And this odd side story where he has a hamster that travels around with him.
What was the point of that?
How was that? And because Mrs. Claus keeps the hamster at the end.
Yeah, she
so
does.
That was good because I was like,
Well,
because
he-
at first he's such a creeper that he puts down a hamster and you're like, where did that come from? Like, what's that? What's that there for?
Well, yeah, he picks up the hamster and he kisses it. and he
I
puts
thought
Yeah.
he
it
was
in-
going to kill it.
I thought he was too.
Because it was going to show how ruthless he was.
Yeah, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
so you establish that he has this hamster, which I guess is supposed to say something about his character, but I don't really know what it's supposed to say, and he's nice to a kid later on, when he buys the airplane, but maybe he wasn't being nice. Maybe he just wanted it and he was just,
No, he takes precious things from people. He pays
Yeah.
them for it. You're right, but
Yeah.
it's a vindictive thing overall.
but with
I
the
feel.
kid, was he being nice or was he
I
just,
think he was just being himself. Like
so the hamster has no purpose then.
he doesn't, but that situation generated one of the funniest lines, and I'm sure you guys appreciated it too. With
Oh,
the
it was a
lady
great
in the,
line.
The lady
The
in the
mother?
pet shop, yeah.
Oh, that
'cause,
was the best.
She's trying.
I'm
to
going to
upsell
say
him.
that to someone.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because she
Yes.
tries to upsell him hindsighters on a pet because he stops to get like a little gerbil wheel that he hitches to his dash. It's not like he even puts it in a hamster cage. It's seriously like glued to the dashboard of his car.
And again, is it comedy when she's pointing out all the toys and he's just putting every one?
yeah,
Right.
He's getting every toy he has for his beloved pet hamster that doesn't even have a. Do we know the hamster's name? Is
I
there
don't think we
anything?
ever-
Is there?
But no, the line was so great because he's in the pet store and she's like, "You seem like a reptile person. How about a gecko?" And he's like, "No, I don't want a gecko." And she's like, "What about a snake?" And he's like, "You know what? You remind me of my mother." What did he say? Because I was so mean.
said,
She
"You know,
wasn't a good listener and she never knew when to shut the fuck up.
Yes.
That's okay. The language.
Mic drop.
I had this emotion in the beginning of the movie after the science fair when the little boy has lost to what's her face? Christine. And
think.
he's like, "Oh, there must be some mistake. I can't be the runner up. I have to be the winner." And he goes outside and he gets into the Suburban.
Right.
And I just had this image of him getting in the Suburban and just yelling "fuck." And then I thought, well, no, they're not going to do that. It's not that kind of movie. And he
but it is though.
And he didn't say anything bad. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense because it's a lighthearted comedy where Santa's like an action guy.
And at first you think that the kid is more normal than he is because it's like he let his grandma down and that's what he's upset about, that he's not going to be able to take home that ribbon. And I think that's part of the motivation. But then you feel like his whole world is his grandmother, but then do we want to discuss what he tries to do to her at the end?
Well, he tries to kill her with fentanyl, but why did she have...
She had it in her pills.
Why did she have fentanyl
I
in
don't
her
know.
pills?
Is it prescription fentanyl?
It came
And I
out
get-
of a prescription bottle.
And I
mean,
guess Santa can drink
yeah, he's
fentanyl and
impervious
it
to it. He
doesn't
just-
bother him?
He just chugged it all to zero effect. Like I have...
So he can get drunk, but fentanyl doesn't...
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
He can.
Yeah, I don't-
like in a treatise. Where was it from
I get-
Dune? He
Oh,
could. He could
yeah,
be poisoned.
Paul, yeah.
Paul Atreides. He could be poisoned, and his body would just absorb it.
Well, and maybe it was just like a power play for Santa to show the kid just how invincible he is, because he has that great monologue at the end where he's telling Billy, "You're going to behave. You're going to set things right with Christine. And if she ever, I don't want to hear about anything happening to your grandmother. If Christine catches so much as a cold, I'm coming back for you."
Oh, and it was like,
was-
if anyone feels lesser, it was like, if you
Yeah.
make somebody feel bad,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come for you and I'm going to rip you out of your bed and I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, it was
That
frightening.
scene was fantastic. And
It was
the
the
way
best
he
one in the movie.
looked, with the eye patch, or not the eye patch,
He
but
took
with the,
his patch off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Look at the bloody eye.
It was brutal because he loses his eye in the fight with Walton Goggins at the end. Hindsighters.
Yeah,
We're
and
just
all-
gonna ruin this whole movie for you.
Well, yeah. And well, another thing about Goggins is that he has this knife thing,
Oh yeah.
but
Yeah,
what was
which
that?
like
where
it's-
it like
I know.
it's
it was
like the
pointed
blade
up.
in Will Smith's foot. in Wild Wild West.
It goes wherever the hell it's supposed to go.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, with Will Smith, it made more sense because he like clicked it out of his boot or whatever, and then was actually kicking at somebody. So that made sense. But you're right. The angle that Walton Goggins was at, I guess he would have had to like bend his leg upward to.
That's what I'm saying. It was only
Santa.
It was only useful in that exact scenario.
Yeah.
Anything else, and it wouldn't have worked. By the way, Wild Wild West, and we have to take a break soon.
Robert Conrad.
Not the original, the movie.
Kevin
with
Kline.
Kenneth Branagh, Kevin Kline,
Right.
Will Smith.
Yes.
Do you know why that movie exists?
No
Because
idea.
of Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet. He was in
Yeah.
He was in so much debt
Oh man.
because he personally financed
Wow.
Hamlet.
Yeah.
He was in
that's
so
true.
much debt that it was basically whatever the
I need a
highest,
paycheck.
the biggest paycheck. I don't care what it is, and
Yeah.
he ended up in Wild Wild West
Dude,
as a
that's
guy with a
funny.
robot spider.
Yeah.
He is the robot spider.
Oh, he
Like,
is?
He's like, well, because he's the character makes no sense. He's completely missing half of his body.
He's
like,
the Scorpion King.
He shouldn't. Yeah, he shouldn't be able. He's not like attached to the spider. It's sort of part of a chair mechanism that fastens him in, like a seatbelt, I guess. But he's missing half of his body, like. And several of his organs. There's absolutely no reason for him to be alive as a character, but that's what makes him build that spider.
Well,
so
hold
he
that
can,
thought for when we do
Yeah.
the Wild Wild West. How does
Yeah.
that sound?
Fair
And
enough.
I was actually about to say,
Well, you know, he was relieved when Harry Potter came along and he got a role in those movies.
well, he's got Branagh's got that movie Belfast out now. That's supposed to be phenomenal.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
yeah,
'Cause
I
I
think-
love Kenneth Branagh. I think he's a
Kenneth
great
Branagh's
actor.
fantastic. We are going to take a
Who the
quick
hell
break.
is Kenneth Branagh?
I'm going to tell him you said that.
We just lost another listener.
yeah,
Kenneth, we're sorry.
Not if they're a Blackadder fan.
exactly. Yeah, it's all in good fun, Ken.
So anyway,
Anyway, we will be back in about 1 second. And we're back.
Hello, hello.
Yay, we are back.
Hello, everybody. We're here, and it's only been 1 second.
1 second.
It's amazing.
I don't know how I emptied my bladder that quickly,
I know.
but I did.
Yeah,
Just
it
1
hasn't. It
second.
hasn't been 6 weeks.
Whoosh.
But we
They're
are still.
holding him hostage.
We're still watching Mel Gibson, who again, let's.
Sexy even in this movie. I'm telling you, like
Well, he
he's a Stone
is.
Cold Fox.
He is exactly what they said about James Bond. Women want him. Men
And
want to be him.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I could look like him with the beard and everything, even with the eye patch,
he was
Yeah.
cool with the
Yeah.
eye
It's
patch, that's
intimidating.
for
and
sure.
live where he lives,
Oh, hell yeah.
because the set that they built, particularly the sort of walkway down from the barn into the elves' workshop,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it was a great set. It was really just. It's one of those things. You have movies like this that are still being made, and movies are what they are nowadays. But the artisans and the tradespeople and the craftspeople, man, they're still good. When you let them go, when you let them work, they
Yeah.
just come up with some awesome stuff.
But interesting that you bring up where they shot, Jason, because since there are scenes in northern Alaska, according to IMDb, just after New Year's with broad daylight, that's not accurate because at that time of the year there should be no sun for 60 days straight.
No, there wouldn't be.
No, be very
No.
dark.
It would be in the summertime. You would get sun till whenever. Last time I was in Alaska was in the summer, and
Last time I was in
Twilight at
Alaska.
11:30, 12.
I didn't like. I mean, it was like.
People would be cutting their lawns at 11 p.m. because
Oh, yeah.
it's still light.
Well, I remember. I remember being asleep at like 11:45, something like that, because we'd had a long day,
hmm
and I get woken up because there's just people outside.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
the light would bother me. It's almost like casino syndrome, like when you go to Vegas
Yeah,
and you have no
yeah.
idea what time of day it is. Like that would be disconcerting. I think I'd like the light season less than the darker season, though. I'm more of an-
Everybody does.
do they?
The dark season is very depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
that- you wanted the dark better than light?
I would like the dark better than the light.
Oh, that's not what you
I-
said. That's
I-
Oh,
Oh,
okay, I got it backwards.
freaky.
Sorry.
Freaky. She likes the dark.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
I think I would like the dark better for like if I was going there for a vacation, just because the sun I couldn't go to sleep, and it's like the next
Yeah,
day
that's
you
what I'm
wake up
saying.
and I'm just at least with it being dark. But the problem is when it's dark, it's cold. Like
Well,
Alaska in
yeah.
the summertime, it's not that bad.
No. It's
Well,
like
and you
Seattle.
can go. You
Yeah.
can't really go hunting it as effectively at night and all the outdoor activities
Yeah.
that they've got going on. So I can see your
Yeah.
argument with that.
We did fishing and fishing at night in the Alaska Sea. I mean, yeah, That'd be fun.
Oh, sorry, that moment in the movie makes me cringe because Walton Goggins is like, he's an arms master who doesn't hold any of his guns
Why doesn't
correctly.
anyone call the police?
I know.
Oh yeah, because he breaks his karate
broke the
instructor's
dude.
arm.
I broke it. I broke
yeah.
his arm.
Yeah.
He was so proud of himself. I broke it.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And that's the thing. It's
Well,
like if it's a comedy, that's forgivable.
Yeah,
If
but
Will Ferrell does that and then goes on and nobody calls the cop, you don't even think twice.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's a serious movie, like even like a Lethal Weapon, there was a limit to what the bad guys couldn't just do whatever the fuck they felt like.
no.
You know? And my biggest question about him, do you remember the scene when he was crossing into Canada?
Yes.
And he's at the
And he's
the
handing
booth.
over all
I
his
thought he was going to
permits and
shoot
stuff.
her too.
Well,
at
he
first.
has like that moment where he's
I know.
like his eyes sort of squint and he's looking and it's like a Highlander sensing another immortal nearby.
Right. I
But
noticed that.
But then
But nothing
nothing happened.
materialized.
Nothing from that.
Nothing materialized.
Oh my God, the hottest maid in the world.
Yeah, she's very pretty. And
Not
Bill-
as pretty as Arnold Schwarzenegger's maid, that's for sure.
Bum bum bum. Let's make a big faced boy
God, his poor son is
a large faced
interesting
boy.
looking.
That was the
Yeah.
line.
No, when they made the reference before, he was approached by the government, and then they approached him again for some additional work, and he said, "I'll get some axle grease in case I change my mind." I have a feeling I knew what that meant, but I wanted to see what the take is on YouTube.
I missed that.
I was actually I heard the same line and I actually sort of was like, I don't know. I actually couldn't figure out what that meant.
I didn't even
so
hear
what
that
I
one.
thought is if he ever working with them was the equivalent of being sodomized. To him.
Okay.
So he was just going to bring some axle grease to make the exchange a little
Yeah.
bit more palatable on his side. It was
Okay.
it was kind of a dirty throwaway, funny comment. But
Yeah.
once again, that just could have been my sailor mind thinking.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely
You
right.
never
about
take
that.
things in a dirty direction. What?
Here's the other problem. This guy has been he's a hitman. He is a killer.
Yeah.
He's got a certain set of skills. Okay.
Not as good as Liam Neeson's, but they're pretty up there.
Go to the local gym and ask men to pee in your hands.
What?
It's from Family Guy.
I don't remember
Yeah.
this.
No, but so the hitman has a certain set of skills. He's a dangerous guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got connections. He's got tools. He's got guns. And he's got a serious grudge against Santa.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Right.
obsessed with Santa. He has this whole scheme where he buys gifts that Santa gave to people.
Right. It's almost
And
as if he's
but-
trying to.
But why didn't he ever go through the day of effort it took him to find Santa if he wanted his head, if he wanted revenge against Santa and it was that easy?
Yeah, you see, he has this vendetta that he nurses his entire life without taking any action except in this weird backwards way where, like you said, Jason, he purchases everybody's precious Christmas gifts. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense. You're right.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be this Javier Bardem sort of character, and that worked in that movie, in No Country, but I don't know. The movie, I wanted to like it, I really did, and I think on balance I ended up liking it,
Poor mailman.
but
I hate when you shoot a mailman. They're such
yeah, well, he
public
kills two.
servants.
He
I
kills
know.
two of them.
The
You shoot a
supervisor.
mailman?
Yeah.
He went postal on the mailman.
That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking. You think the mailman would be ready for that at all times?
I guess so.
Well, apparently, everyone other than him is a complete fucking idiot because he just easily walks in anywhere he wants. He
Well, I mean, he did put a disguise on to go into the postal service office. Like, he steals the guy's uniform that he kills.
Yeah,
and then, so they
yeah.
think that he works there. And
And, GS employees, not necessarily the hottest French fries in the bag.
Yeah, that is
know?
true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
hottest
No
French
offense.
I can't get
fries in the
fired.
bag.
No offense to my GS friends. I love you all, but
yeah, sharp as a marble.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to get a few things past them.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and I'm fine with that in a comedy.
Well, 'cause
Right.
He's tracking down Santa. He doesn't have luck with information because he's like, hey, I'm trying to reach where would I find something in the North Pole? And they're like, sir, what are you talking about? And he he gets uppity and curses rudely at the lady at information. They're like, sir, I can't stay on the line if you're going to curse. He's like, sorry, I didn't mean to curse. I'm looking for Kris Kringle. And they hang up on him because they think it's some sort of practical joke. And he's like, why the fuck did you hang up the phone? Like,
yeah, but isn't...
Which could have been funny in a different movie.
Yeah, it doesn't
because it was meant
sense.
To be, but yeah, it's kind of confusing. You're
Santa
right
is
about
not
that.
only real, he's very obviously real.
And people know him.
People know him.
They know how to find him. Like even the post office, they were like, okay, he doesn't have anything shipped directly to his house. I honest to goodness don't know where he lives. It's just a P.O. box. So
you've never figured out like where he. I mean, it's your town.
Yeah.
You see the guy all the time. You don't even know where he lives. Oh, by the way,
no, this is before he goes up to Alaska. I want to say.
Yeah, but it's like this huge compound with buildings, and you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Hollywood.
Yeah, literary
Hollywood.
assumption.
I think the movie is asking just a little too much.
Yeah.
But again,
and they don't even give like a throwaway line where it's like, oh well, the magic of Santa makes the farm invisible.
Yeah,
Like, not even a throwaway. They don't explain any of that. He's got this very traceable,
and so the
address.
Every postmaster in America knows that there's a classified.
That's what I loved. It's like a conspiracy theory that all of the postmen
Yeah,
have been keeping all these years.
Again, if you want this to be a Quentin Tarantino, like down and dirty, full tilt boogie kind of like thing, it's not a comedy. Or at least if it is a comedy, it's got to be a Coen Brothers comedy, or it's got to be
bullet holes in his sleigh. Poor Santa.
Yeah.
It's so ghetto.
They took pot shots at him when he was flying over. Hey, people would do that.
Yeah, that's how they explain how he heals, because
The
he does
UFO.
have a significant injury. But
I think it's amazing only 2 kids shot at him.
I know.
yeah, he must have. You were kind of right. It's a guy who flies around in the air and enters your house through your chimney.
Here's his knife thing. I didn't quite. Is it in his jacket? or
Yeah,
It's in his.
It's in his leg.
It's in his
It's
leg.
on his leg.
It's like a holster. And that's why the angle doesn't make any sense when he
okay.
impales.
Yeah,
Santa
it
Claus.
points straight up.
Yeah.
It's like straight across his knee.
Yeah, it's weird.
So it only works in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And why does he have the things
Explosives?
that they're building? Because the elf picks up one of them and the guy's like, that's not a toy. And then the elf takes it apart.
Right. Yes.
Where did the elf get that from?
Well, the elves are master builders. And
Oh, okay, so the elf
disassemblers.
built it. Well, then why does he have them?
Well, no, he didn't build it. He just can touch. The elves can touch anything and know exactly how it's
Oh,
made.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
See how it's
Yeah.
built because I'm sure
Is this so? Is
It-
this
it is so,
secret
yes.
elf knowledge?
I thought
Because you're dressed like an elf.
I thought everybody. I thought everybody knew that. I was wrong.
Nope, that's new information.
Can we talk about the best character in the movie, though?
The hamster.
No.
I was
Credit.
waiting for him to stick it up his. Never mind.
Yeah.
That's what I
Proceed.
said earlier. I was like, because it's so random and he's such a creeper that you're like, what the hell is that hamster
I
for?
know, what is
Like,
he going to do
oh,
that
no.
hamster with? And what is? Yeah. Anyway.
Well, the best character in the movie, though, in my opinion, Seven.
Oh,
Seven's awesome.
Seven's
cool,
great.
yeah.
He's immediately likable.
Yeah.
You immediately, they communicated his entire character in the first like 2 or 3 sentences, and the actor's performance.
And for those of you who don't realize that, Seven is Santa's right-hand man, basically. He's like the head elf. And the elderly captain even asks at one point, he's like, Seven, that's what you call him? That's strange. And he goes, well, we're assigned numbers, and that's how we keep track of each other. And he was like, we don't reissue numbers. That's unethical and dishonorable. And the captain was like, wow,
I like that.
I really respect.
Yeah,
He's-
the
every
captain
time he
came
turns
around.
Well, the captain he admires everything. The only thing he
Yeah.
critiques is their sleep schedule.
And their food.
And their food.
dining.
No, it's very Buddy the Elf, because they live on carbs and sugar, and it's basically like when Will Ferrell was pouring syrup on noodles. Like they live on like cookies and candy canes and stuff, and they just eat straight carbs. He was like, "That's not a balanced diet. You need at least 4 food groups, sir. Like that's not okay."
And-
He's like,
and
"We're
8 hours of
elves, we're
sleep
not
a night."
people." Yeah.
Yeah, I especially like that the soldiers wear their helmets all the time for all the fucking good that did them.
Well, that was true. I didn't know why they needed full battle dress as a sentry.
Yeah.
Usually
and-
don't
yeah.
do that. Yeah.
And they might as well have been wearing tutus. I mean, for all the good it did them. And I think that was sort of at that point, it was like, I was disappointed because I had this thought that, oh, well, Santa, he's got this army detachment that is there with him.
Right.
Oh, I bet there's going to be some that's going to be an interesting thing the way they do that. How are they going to figure out how to get the hitman in, even though the army is there? And it's like, no, he's a super soldier.
He just walked right in and blew them all away.
He just shoots them all.
Yeah, and I thought the elves were going to be, more defensive of Santa. Like maybe they were going to rise up against the assassin.
Tried.
Yeah,
they tried.
No, but I thought it was going to be a little more substantial than what it was. Like, because he's wildly outnumbered.
Well, yeah, it's like the Predator or the Terminator showing up, and I'm like, this guy's
he's just a dude.
He's just a dude. You can if two people with guns faced off against him, all they'd have to do is just kind of be far away. He's not magic.
Right.
No.
2 bullets. He can't do anything about both of them.
See, this portion made me sad when they forced the elves to cut the bells off of their little Christmas shoes.
Again, why? What is the point of that?
Because of the metal detectors.
No. I mean, story-wise.
Oh,
why put that in there?
There's no payoff to it, but he basically removes all of them, and he's like, yeah, they'll make our metal detectors go crazy. And then that's it.
The reason you would do that in a screenplay is to establish that these are bad people. Or if they're not
that's
bad.
why it made me sad, because they're being punished for basically no reason.
Yeah, and it's like, well, but they're not, though. They
turn out to be okay.
They're and like the soldiers.
I was always expecting the soldiers to be bad.
Yeah.
You have to cut the bells off of your hat, Mr. Brown.
Okay, here's the scene. This is the scene in the at the toll booth.
Okay, let me pay attention to this, because I didn't pick up on this when.
Yeah, he hands him all the
the paperwork.
Yeah, hands her all the
my
forms.
3177 right here.
Ha ha ha! That's so funny. He had them already done.
And then
there's this weird.
There's a pause.
Yeah.
Just before the stamp.
And there it is. And there's the sound. There's
you
sound designed in this. They intentionally made this scene. Yeah.
Like he's gonna take her out.
And I had the subtitles on when I was watching this last night. It says, "Stamp goes kathunk," which I thought was awesome.
Yes.
The deaf must be so thankful for that. Oh, kathunk. I thought it would have made a totally different sound.
What was that moment on Community where Abed was trying to explain a sound to the deaf girl that he was trying to date? Because she was like, I don't know what this sounds like. And he was trying to describe it to her.
I don't remember.
Okay, I'll have to find it.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember.
She was like, I think he asked her, like, how do they explain this sound to deaf people? And she's like, oh, it's kind of like this. And she's trying to explain it. But yeah.
Hang on. I just want to point something out. Well, yeah.
Yes.
They make a point of showing the snow machines being driven off, or the snowmobiles.
Yeah.
Snow machines.
Well, that's what they call them. In Canada, they call them snow machines.
And in
they do?
Alaska.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't call them mobiles.
Yeah.
They're machines.
So they make a point of showing a soldier driving one off. And it's like, ooh, I saw that and I thought, there's gonna be some cool shit. No. Nothing.
They've got all these Humvees. They've got all this transportation. Nothing. Everything happens on foot.
Yeah. There's no Hummer with like a 50 cal machine gun. There's nothing. The army might as well. The only reason they were there was to die. Yeah. Because they didn't even affect the final confrontation, which Santa Claus lost anyway.
Yeah.
Or Chris lost.
Yeah, Chris lost. His wife had to step in and kick some ass for him. But there was no payoff to this moment either. So
you're
Chris
right. You're totally correct.
These two soldiers are trying to lift this really heavy set of crates, I think. And Mel Gibson's like, oh, here, hold my hot chocolate. And he just like lifts like 900 pounds barehanded.
Yeah.
And then somehow he can't beat the hell out of this guy hand
it doesn't
combat
make
when he comes to kill him.
One punch with a guy that strong and
should knock you the hell out. Yeah.
That shot right there. This is like a Bond villain lair or like a secret MI6 lair. You know, the production design on the movie is just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and again, I have infinite respect for the people who do this stuff because nobody thinks about them. You know, they don't cover those at the Academy Awards.
But it makes the movie.
Right.
It makes the movie, though. Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it. The person who makes his beard and hair look like that. It's not him. He's not doing that.
That's true.
I mean, the costumer who picked out those awesome ass clothes in the end,
Mm-hmm.
and the cane, you know.
But then just all the other there's so much random stuff with no payoff in this movie that you're right. It does taint the good quality aspects of it. Like one thing I was particularly confused about, Walton Goggins is just driving straight to Santa, like doesn't even stop to use an actual restroom. He's relieving himself in a plastic bottle.
Right, of course.
He empties it out on
Again,
the
in a comedy scene.
No, that I get, but then he takes the bottle and just like thrusts it on his dash.
Dashboard.
I was like,
Stinky.
who puts their piss bottle
It's still
on the
dripping.
dash?
It's still steaming. And he threw it on his dash. That was gross.
That hamster's going to get so diseased.
I know.
I think this movie, under the right circumstances, I think if you, it's sort of like LJ said once. He said, "Here's how you watch The Expendables. Go to the gas station, get 2 40-ounce whatever, drink one, then start playing The Expendables, and while watching The Expendables, drink the other one." And it's perfect. It's a wonderful experience.
Yes.
You'll enjoy the movie. I think this movie is kind of in that same area where I just have to be a little dumber,
little inebriated.
Yeah, and it's good. I mean, but again though, no Mel, forget it.
Yeah, he does kind of carry the movie. Yeah, that was a cute moment. You're
and
right,
he did
Adam.
the walk. He did the Mel Gibson walk.
He stormed off with his cookie. He stole the cookie from his wife.
He reaches for the plate and she pushes his hand away. And then when she's caught up in her conversation with the captain, he's just like, ugh, and just power walks away from her.
Yeah.
That was cute.
I think the hitman's major, like his superpower, is that nobody notices him.
Yeah, he's like Joe in that Netflix series and there are so many memes about it. Y'all know the premise of that show, right? Well, he stalks girls endlessly and nobody sees him because he has a ball cap on.
Yeah.
And so that's super popular for
He
memes
doesn't even have a ball cap.
I know. No mask, no nothing. Oh, here comes the interaction with the lady at the pet shop.
At the biggest pet shop in southern Alaska
it's
or
huge.
wherever.
Yeah, it's the only one.
I've
Actually,
never been to a
Alaska.
pet shop like that.
Really?
No, even PetSmart doesn't have any animals anymore.
Yeah, they do. They've got birds and lizards and rabbits and stuff.
They don't have rabbits anymore.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, I guess
No.
that changed.
Well,
Okay.
I was there the other week. They had a few birds, but they didn't have any reptiles.
Interesting.
I don't know.
They mostly have fish.
That's an important bulletin for you at home, by the way. Don't go to PetSmart if you're looking for it,
Yeah,
or at least check first online.
Well, they will have a hamster wheel for your hamster.
Yeah, they'll have that.
Because there's no payoff to that relationship either.
No.
'Cause he stops and he clearly loves this animal. He goes out of his way because you see him in the vehicle and I guess he just sympathizes with the hamster, like thinking that it's bored or something. So he literally stops, gets a wheel, like glues it to his dashboard so that the hamster
which is
can
fine.
just run on the wheel.
Yeah, which is like, you put that stuff in a screenplay either to endear the character, so it's like, oh, it's a bad guy. I hate him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put something in there and it makes the audience like, ooh, well, I kind of.
But he's got a soft side.
Yeah. Or you do it to explain him. Like, oh, this is a little glimpse into what's really going on in his head. But in this case, I don't like, he doesn't seem
It's not substantial enough
Yeah,
to redeem him in any way.
Yeah, if he was like stopping and picking up like a puppy off the side of the road,
Mm-hmm.
and like, or if he, and I know I've seen this and I don't know which movie it was in. If a hitman sees somebody about to kill a dog and he's like, hey, don't kill that dog, and like shoots the guy who's about to kill the dog.
Yeah.
And like rescues him.
It would be more redeeming. And I think part of the problem with this movie is that there's not a clear protagonist or antagonist because the
really
bad guy
isn't.
remains the bad guy throughout and just dies.
No,
And-
I disagree.
You think Chris changes?
Chris is the protagonist and the little boy
Is the antagonist? Okay. you know
Or
what?
actually, no, it might be the other way around. Because the boy
Yeah,
at the
Well,
end,
you don't get any payoff
you're
or
right.
proof that
No,
he
you're right,
changes.
you're right.
You just assume that he's going to because Santa scared the life out of him.
Well,
so,
and let's talk about the obvious setup for a sequel. The end of the movie is very much like
They're building it better.
We're building. It's going to be better than it was before. And now,
assassin proof.
Yeah, and now I'm proactive. So it's like now that's kind of the whole. Oh, what do we have? We have
That's the headshot of the pet shop. You give me grief about my headshot.
Hey.
You see it?
Hey,
I saw it already. Actually, I looked up nudes already.
So hindsighters, the pet shop owner clearly was a woman in her probably late 50s, mid 60s, but we look at her headshot at late 30s.
yeah.
You know what?
she's about my
You
age in
could
that.
tell. I will say this: when I was watching it, I was like, yeah, she's actually a really attractive.
Oh,
woman.
absolutely.
They've got a lot of
Yes.
kooky makeup on her. And like he smokes, and I feel like there was
bad guy
supposed
does,
to be something. I'm supposed to take something from that he smokes.
Yeah, because they make an effort to show that he does.
Yeah. It's
And,
very upfront. It's in your face.
Yeah.
And also, whenever he buys the product, the gifts that the people had gotten from Santa, he really negotiates them hard.
Yeah.
And he gives this kid $200 for a plane that's probably worth 20,
Yeah.
30. That was weird.
And this is where you find out about his abuse. You know what I got for Christmas when I was your age?
Oh,
And he
burn
shows him the
marks.
burn marks. You never forget the smell of burning flesh and menthols. And it's just like, okay.
Do you
damn.
know who he reminds me of?
Do tell.
Bill Paxton.
A little bit. Yeah.
Look in this scene. You can just wait till it cuts back.
I'm not really seeing
I
it.
can see Bill Paxton.
I respectfully disagree. But yeah, and then
And he bought the plane. But there's no point to that.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
why-
doesn't it
why
doesn't
accumulate
show
all
He
that?
just the kid calls it
It's a
his
fetish.
hobby. Yeah.
it doesn't show how this affects him and or if it like
And then the cop doesn't
Yeah.
even follow
The
him.
second time he passed by a cop. There was a
I
scene
didn't catch
earlier
the
where
first time.
but they didn't show it, but there was obviously a cop sitting and he just drove by and I went, "Oh, he's going to get pulled over."
That's
Yeah,
what I
'cause
thought.
he's-
and then it's going to
speeding
be
or
like,
something.
"Oh, Javier Bardem all over the cop."
Yeah.
And no.
Nothing.
I love how in the mess hall, like we were talking about the elves' diet before, but it's kind of insane because they'll eat like an entire pie, like in one meal.
Yeah, but look at that lighting.
Oh, it's great.
Look how good that is. I mean, look at just
It's like a gulag or something, like a
Yeah.
concentration camp almost.
Well,
Make sure to have my helmet on in the mess hall.
I
Yeah.
got the impression I felt like it was a World War II movie, like on a Royal Navy ship.
yeah.
I mean, it was like they were in the bowels of a ship, doing this difficult, repetitive work. But even that doesn't pay off.
None of it really does, and even you don't really understand why the military is accumulating all these weapons. I mean,
Yeah,
I know
does
the
Lockheed? Yeah, has
like,
Lockheed
what are
run
they-
out of money?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and plus, like, what are they gearing up for? They're basically
It's-
there
yes,
to make
yes.
his life more difficult.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's the biggest thing. Why is the military in such a hurry to get this one part?
Yeah.
They never. Oh well, China's going to be launching this thing, or we think a
We
terrorist.
got to
attack.
stop the commies.
Nothing.
Supply chain issues?
I guess.
Yeah.
Like
No,
I guess
but what are they gearing up toward? What's the goal?
maybe they're afraid their budget will get cut and they just want to spend it all out in
Yeah, but
this
there's
fiscal
there's
year.
No backstory.
No.
It's
And-
like the relationship of the little boy with the assassin. How did,
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I got
Yeah.
such a John
I
Mulaney
know.
vibe
Well,
from
they,
that 'cause
they
it's
just
like
they throw away how that happened.
yeah.
yeah, and his best friend is a disgraced nuclear physicist, and they never explain,
Like
not
Back
even
to
in
the
a lazy
Future,
way.
right?
Like,
I know.
oh, remember that time we met in the science building? Like, it's the same exact
Well,
thing.
in this one, the kid knows the driver because remember the first time he says to the driver, "Hey, I need you to put me in touch with that guy again,
Oh, okay.
or our friend."
Yeah, but where did he get the notion to do this kind of thing in the first? And what? Because when
Agreed.
I was 12, I didn't
Is
know what
he an
the hell a
evil
hitman
genius?
was.
Yeah. Is he an evil Bond villain, or
I
is
mean, he is kind of. I did describe him as like the young evil Tony Stark. So maybe.
But at the same time, though, his grandmother is actually watching where the money's going.
Right.
So
How did it take her this long?
yeah,
Catch on.
It's
It's what the script said.
yeah,
I
it's
read the script.
yeah.
Especially since it's not a cheap thing to hire a hitman, to my knowledge. And
I
it's
was
a big
expecting
hunk
a
of money.
September 11th thing here
What?
when they showed the firefighter.
Oh, right.
And as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, like shit. Is that going to be like she became a firefighter because of your gift, but then it was like,
Oh, and then she died in a tragic fire.
fuck
Oh,
it.
God.
Nothing I do makes any difference,
Well, what Jason's talking about, Hindsighters, is that Mrs. Claus is trying to give Santa an emotional boost. So she puts together all these file folders of all the children that he's distributed gifts to over the years. I thought it was like 3 of them.
Oh, is it 3 of them?
I saw
3.
multiple folders, so it doesn't matter. But he sees that one little boy used to play with like a Fisher-Price kitchen set, and now he's a professional chef.
Right.
Now, where she got these photos of these children, I'm not 100% sure.
Magic.
And one little girl, he gave her, it was a fire truck, right? And so she became a firefighter when she grew up. And she was like, see, and he comes in.
And then the guy became a chef.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Way to eschew traditional gender roles.
Oh, heck yeah. They are so forward
I
thinking.
know. Aren't they fascinating?
I identify as they. Thank you very much, because sometimes I'm just too much.
I can't do a good David Cross voice, so.
David Cross.
He's a
From
comedian.
Archer.
He's a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah,
way to
okay.
way to eschew traditional gender roles.
Pirates. Yeah. I'm going to be a pirate king. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. So, yeah, they're fascinating. But he comes in, Chris comes in and apologizes
Chris.
Dennis the Menace. He comes in and apologizes to his wife for having been such a Debbie Downer lately and being so negative, and he thanks her for supporting him, and she's like, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
I put up with your shit because I love you very much. And
We've got
down,
a job to do.
Yeah, I'm here to boost you. That's what
we decided to do this.
And then he wants to boink her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she
because
says no, not until you take a shower.
Yeah.
That sweatsuit seals in all the juices.
I'll take a
Go
shower
get cleaned
before.
up.
I'll take a shower
like
before
David
and ideally
Carradine's
after.
Frankenstein suit.
Well, and what was there was a weird line. I don't know if it was after where we're at or before when Santa or Chris is telling Seven, like, hey, we've been through bad times before. And he says 1910 was a really good year, but then there was that war. But the war began in 1914.
Right.
Oh,
And I was like,
I missed that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
I'll
it
have
was,
to rewatch it.
it was a weird line because I was like, well, they didn't get that wrong, did they?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so I think we skipped past a very important detail that Adam just shared, which is that
The
Mr. and
receding
Mrs.
hairline?
Mr. and Mrs. Claus get it on for some afternoon delight.
Well, to be fair, she did finish, knitting what probably is the itchiest and scratchiest blanket.
I think it was
Comforter?
a scarf. Oh no, she
No,
didn't.
no,
No, it was.
it was a
You're right.
blanket.
It was a blanket, yeah.
Because
But
they put it
remember,
on the bed.
There was the insinuation. It's a little bit later that the action occurs. It has not occurred yet.
That's true.
Yeah, it's later.
He propositions her, but like you said,
Because he all of a sudden gets in a good mood.
Yeah, because of the pictures.
because of the
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah.
And when he does walk in, you're right. She puts him off and tells him to take a shower because he was hitting his punching bag and working out. And she was like, "Of course, here you do, like you do. You come in dripping sweat all over my kitchen floor and
And using my good towels as
sweat rags."
Sweat rags.
Yeah.
Rags,
But
that's right.
here's I think the biggest flaw, the fundamental flaw of the movie, and we do have to
Do
take a
tell.
break soon.
Okay.
Santa Claus is a badass.
Yes.
Why? Because I was okay with that when they show. It's like beginning of the movie, Santa Claus he's shooting. Like, okay, yeah, well, of course, because the government hires Santa Claus to go out and do these things.
Even his face on the
but
movie.
then he doesn't. The government doesn't hire him to do those things.
Yeah.
Why is he such a badass?
I'm not sure. But even you were talking about the trailer, even in the movie poster, it conveys that message that he's the one who, like a fish out of water sort of story where he's suddenly an assassin because he's all wide-eyed and
Right.
manic on the movie poster. And Walton Goggins is behind him. And it looks like it's almost like a buddy cop movie. Like they're going to team up and go kick some ass somewhere. You're totally right about that. So I really don't know why they went in this direction, but
It's weird. It really is weird.
I don't like duck canvas. Way too much going on when he's judging the coats.
Yeah, I would bet.
Too many sticks. I'm not a fucking tree.
Yeah, which
I know
that's
why
what camouflage looks like, you twat.
that's why I think they just let him
They were trying to
completely
make
riff.
it. He was
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think the fundamental reason why the movie fails, though, goes to that point. It's the
It's the Phantom of the Paradise situation where it's so misleading in the trailer that when
Yeah.
you see what it actually is, you're like, oh, this is not what I signed up for.
but it worked. That worked for Phantom of the Paradise. I enjoyed it more because it wasn't the movie I thought it was going to be.
Same. It did the opposite with this movie.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, there is sort of a correlation because with Phantom of the Paradise, they made this movie, the studio saw it and went, we're not going to sell this. Make a trailer that makes it look like something
Phantom of the
else.
Opera, yeah.
Right.
Like a shticky Phantom of the Opera.
With this, I feel like the script was delivered, shooting began, they had everything in place, and then somebody went, this isn't going to work. It needs to be a comedy.
Yeah.
Or, no, this is too much of a comedy. It's Mel Gibson. We're paying for Mel Gibson. It needs to be a hard, edgy, and it ended up being...
They were trying to shoehorn too many different pieces in.
I probably it had an original concept that was good. It might even have a director's cut that... I don't even know. I mean, there might be one.
That makes it make more sense. But Jason, this part where you find Billy, where he's demanding Santa's head, he's painting in his home. It reminded me of Eddie Izzard talking about Hitler. Where he's like, Hitler was a vegan painter, but you're going to wonder where he's like, I cannot get the trees. Damn, I will kill everyone in the world. That's what that moment really hit for me. It reminded me of that joke.
Well, and on that reference to Adolf Hitler, we are going to take a quick break. We'll be back in about 1 second. And we're back.
Hello.
We've managed to drag ourselves back in.
Yes.
And
in 1 second.
Yeah, in 1 second. We got it all out. This is the part of the movie where it's like Spies Like Us, directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Combined with that episode of Archer.
Yeah.
Where he finds out about the date rape.
Yeah, and I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. I did not like the entire, from this point on, like the last third of the movie. I wasn't there with it.
Spray and pray.
And he's got skis.
Lot of shooting. A lot of and what does he use the skis for? Just to distract
distraction.
the
That's
sentries.
it. Yeah. Like he wasn't going any place where he needed skis.
Yeah, because they're not even like cross-country type skis. They're just regular ones. But he's not anywhere where he would be skiing. It doesn't make any sense.
They're water skis. They have like the little blade in the back.
Make sure to jump the wake, man. That's the tricky part. But yeah, so I guess he just distracts them with it. Like, what is that?
Yeah, yeah. These are the guys they didn't send to Afghanistan.
What do you think, Sarge? Like, yeah.
They're guardsmen.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the army. It's there.
God, you're right, Jason. Mel Gibson does.
Snow machine.
Yeah, there's
there it is. Two of them. Two
I
of
thought there was going
them.
to be a chase sequence or something. Like,
No payoff on the snow machine.
no, zero.
Nothing.
Absolutely zero. But yeah, Mel Gibson does have a very distinct walk, even with the extra weight. Because at first I was wondering, it
Did
didn't
he
look,
put on weight or was it a fat suit?
I was never really 100% sure. I think
kind of
he
think
gained
it's
a
just
little bit,
yeah.
but not. But I think they padded it and then put the layers on him to make him look bigger.
Because he's not really fat. He's more punchy.
Yeah.
You know, and he's got a lot of clothes on the whole time. Well, almost the whole time.
Well, he's about to get
he's about
naked.
This
Brown
is-
chicken, brown cow.
Yes,
Ow, ow.
Mrs. Claus going to spread her ankles. Partridge in a pear tree. It sounded sexy.
5 golden condoms.
No.
I don't know.
2 turtle doves? I don't.
And it is a mixed marriage, by the way. I think the
that
hindsighters
is-
need to know that
Yes.
because they were not popular in the South 40 years ago, but they got over it.
Yeah, but to be fair, they're like not even human. So,
That's
I
true.
mean, at this
Yeah.
point, if you have a hang up,
Yeah.
I mean,
You got to wonder how she must have felt about that, though, given his racial, like, going postal.
He doesn't like Jewish people. He's okay with black
yeah,
people.
I was about to say he was specific.
No, it
Oh
was-
no,
no.
it was
It was
very
specifically for
yes.
Jewish people? Okay.
very specific.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
In vino veritas.
I've heard smidges of it, but I've never heard the whole rant. I thought it was, like, just racist across the board. So, okay.
No.
No, he was accusing the police officer of being part of a Jewish conspiracy or something.
Oh,
I
she's,
don't know.
she's the queen of Christmas, so she doesn't have to worry about his racism toward Jews.
But here's the thing, though. So Mel Gibson does that, and he says all these terrible things about Jews. Seth MacFarlane says literally just as bad about Jews on Family Guy.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, somehow.
I mean, Peter
because of-
Griffin literally looked at a picture of a Nazi and said, I know Jews are bad, but Nazis are worse. That was literally a line.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and they're I think they get away with it because they're just irreverent on all counts. Like Peter they did one of those cutaways where he was like, "Oh, like that time I got out of jury duty. Awful lot of honkies in here." And I was like, that's one of my favorite jokes they ever did.
Snow machines. Oh,
then the drivers are
they're
shot.
dead. That's it. Snow machines are not in the movie anymore. Hummers don't do anything. Snow machines don't do anything. Nothing that the army is working on. Also, why is the army working on a fighter jet?
Who knows? But
did the people who made this movie not realize that back in the 40s, we started this organization called the Air Force?
Yeah.
They tend to be pretty protective of that.
They are, yes.
Yeah, they're stodgy.
They don't want the Army Air Corps coming back again.
No.
kind of their primary function.
Yeah, it's sort of their thing. They get tetchy about it.
Now I just keep flashing back to Archer episodes. There's not even an underage girl trying to harass him on one of the snowmobiles. Like there's so many Archer aspects in this movie. It's great.
the whole set design of the lair, which again, I mean, I want this to be my basement. If I won the
lighting, everything.
Yeah, if I won the lottery, that is literally down to the lighting. I would probably change the food because I'm not much of a sweet tooth, but
Wait, you don't want syrup on top of spaghetti?
No, it'd be all gravy. It'd be a gravy-based gravy and
it'd be a vat of gravy.
A vat of gravy, mashed potatoes, macaroni, but carbs, just a carb.
My macaroni
Yeah, a carb facility
is superior.
I'd be dead in 2 days, but they'd be the best 2 days.
Days of your
It'd be
damn
the
life.
best.
That's so true.
Did you ever worry that one of the elves was going to get shot?
I thought Seven was dead.
I didn't.
I just
too.
assumed
when he was going for the microphone, I thought they were going to take him out.
I was worried about that. I was like, no, not Seven.
That's the other thing that literally pissed me off in the movie. Why is it that the most powerful military in the world cannot afford to buy more than one fucking radio? Because you would think, what was that? A gunshot? Let me get on my radio. Police officers, what's the first thing they do? They pick up the radio. They tell people.
Get the word out.
Yeah, but then somehow he has the element of surprise because nobody's saying anything, but then he just blows it.
Yeah.
And it not to any end. It's not like he's getting closer to Chris. He doesn't have a clue where Chris is.
Yeah, he's in the like barn/factory setup that they've got going on, and meanwhile Chris is upstairs.
And why does he
nude
want
with
to
his
blow
wife.
it up? I thought he was just going to kill Chris Kringle.
Yeah, and
he has explosives.
Yeah, and why?
Yeah, it's not a massive assassination attempt. You're looking for one dude, and you're trying to do it in a covert fashion.
This is where he demonstrates his ability to disassemble and reassemble.
Well,
one of the elves insiders grabs one of the explosives, and the Slender Man is trying to tell him to put it down, and then he just he just takes it apart.
Well, here's the other thing that they did,
and then he tries to shoot him,
and might have shot him.
That was
don't know.
That was a good move on his part a second ago, though, because the elf.
The black guy's gonna die.
Not if Abed has anything to say about it, but because he tries to get away with being a little bit covert when the elf is like, "Are you one of Captain Jacob's men?" And he's like, "Yes, yes, I am."
Okay, that is the biggest, laziest, cheapest thing they do in this whole screenplay because they do it twice.
Postman.
The postman, where it's like, hey, are you a member of this organization? Oh, yeah, I totally am.
I'm one
and
of
they hand him.
Well,
you know?
with the postman, it made more sense because he was at least in a uniform. He doesn't look like any of the other soldiers. He doesn't have a uniform on. He's in a white coat.
Yeah. Again, if it was a comedy, fine. Totally okay. Wouldn't bother me a bit. If Leslie Nielsen was in this, I'd be fine with that. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's no big deal. It's a gag. But
it'd be very Mr. Magoo.
So the
slapstick.
captain grabs the one radio and says something, but at the exact same moment, that's when Seven sounds the alarm. So it's like there was not even any point to that.
Yeah,
there's no point to it.
But he does take care of his squad. He makes sure to help evacuate all the other elves. So Seven's a good guy. I like him.
I like that they don't show the toys. Like, you don't see them actually making an Xbox.
Right.
You know?
Thank gosh. Yeah.
That's true.
Because I was thinking...
Smoke bomb!
Yeah. Because I was thinking, I wonder who paid money to be the toy.
Yeah.
And I was actually surprised that they didn't do that. They didn't have Sony. It's all...
They could have got quite a bit of extra money.
Yeah, it's the opposite of the Tim Allen Santa Claus, where it's just this magical land with toys everywhere.
Now, speaking of money, Darth, you have the numbers.
Oh,
I do.
I gotta know the numbers.
You will be stunned.
My mind will be blown.
Well, tell him. Just tell.
You tell me because I don't have my spectacles on. I can't see.
Okay.
My Santa specs.
What about your wallet and watch?
Spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch.
testicles.
Okay, so the budget for the movie was $20 million. And
Pretty low, yeah.
Reasonable.
That's a low budget,
That's
yeah.
reasonable.
I read two different figures on what it brought home in the U.S., but they're not terribly far off each other. It looks like here's a $263,000.
That's with a T.
Yeah, because at first, I said before the show, I said, "Oh well, it flopped," and she was like, "No, it made $260 million." And I went, "Really?"
I didn't notice the K next to the song.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, it came out in 2020.
Yeah.
When everybody
There
was
were no movie
quarantining.
theaters.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, Ghostbusters Afterlife I think it was 114 million is what it's up to right now.
We still
Okay.
have to go see that soon.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
I don't want it to get ruined on the internet.
And the captain just died, and there's nothing. Like, he just dies like he's just any other. Why?
Yeah, you're
Ah.
right. The elves do try to help out because the captain gets shot and then two elves jump. And he tries to assassinate them too, but they scurry
They get
away
behind the
fast enough.
snowbank.
Yeah.
Love his gun. It's a cool gun. It's tactical AF.
Yeah, it is tactical AF.
I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
so
Are we
now
watching
he's-
Lethal Weapon in Alaska, or are we watching, Kill Bill?
It's a combination of both. But yeah, so the final standoff is coming up. So Mel gets dressed in a hurry, runs downstairs to go face off with the skinny man.
Yeah, but the final standoff here, I'll sum it up for you. Chris dies, but he doesn't, and the assassin doesn't die. He goes away and then is killed by Mrs. Claus.
Yes.
There you go.
No, that's exactly what happened.
No, there's not like the assassin doesn't have like a change of heart, because I was thinking, like, is Santa Claus going to get in there and like, no, listen to me, I can save you.
Yeah.
Like, you're not so far gone yet. I'm Santa Claus. I'll give, or even I thought
I'll
maybe
give you the second chance that helps you to believe in the
Yeah.
magic of Christmas or something redeeming.
Yeah, like I
No.
was expecting some sort of a gift, and that gift was going to, like, return him to youthfulness, and he'd have a beautiful mullet, and Danny Glover would be there, and it'd be awesome.
No, he's too old for this shit.
Yeah, he is actually too old for this shit now.
Yeah, he
But-
really is too old. He's like in his 70s.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just love this long distance standoff that they've got going on. He's yelling from like 50 yards away at Mel Gibson, and I love the
Well, it's
line.
a Western again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's a Clint
He's
Eastwood
got his
Western.
6 shooters.
Yeah. Well, he specifically, the line, that he says whenever he walks out, the hitman blows up the workshop, or the lobby of the workshop.
Yeah.
Really,
Whatever.
the workshop's probably fine. And then Mel Gibson says, "That's enough." And it's a very sort of latter-day Clint Eastwood, Unforgiven sort of thing, where it's
Yeah.
the man's coming out to talk now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does have that good line because Walton Goggins tells him, he's like, "I'm gonna take your head off, Santa Claus," and he's like, "Do you think you're really the first one to try?" Like,
Which was awesome,
it was great,
but it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
no. And the fight was surprisingly realistic, considering the fact that we have established that Santa is invincible and
Yes.
he's super strong.
But Santa runs out of bullets,
Yes.
and Walton Goggins has unlimited bullets. He's on God
Somehow,
mode.
yeah.
Yeah, he's on God mode. He can no clip. He can just walk through walls and shit.
Yeah.
And Chris has 6 in one, and he's got a magazine in the other. And when they're gone, he throws them on the ground, and he has to pick up a stick. But the other guy
smacks him over the head with a
stick.
log.
yeah, but the other
Everything.
guy is so obviously just shooting, and
Yeah.
it's lazy.
He's got a lot of ammo. I mean, then he goes full auto. Why would you ever do that? It's such
And
a
he's
waste
shooting
of
at nothing. Yeah,
ammunition.
he's just shooting at the car.
Yeah.
You never go full auto.
Yeah, he's
Never.
losing control. He's lost his edge because he's finally met somebody who can take him on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, because he's like a super assassin this entire movie, and just like burns through all of his victims, and then Santa's.
Yeah.
You think that Santa's gonna be the one who has to take him out, but then Mrs. Claus enters the ring.
Yeah, and she does it in a way that really feels like a Coen Brothers kind of thing. I mean, because it feels like it's a very sudden kill. It's almost not quite as sudden as the movie The Departed when Matt Damon gets killed.
Right.
And it's just...
You know, I called that movie too.
Yeah, that's... yeah. The door just opens and bang.
Yep.
And it's
Marky
like, oh,
Mark
he's
comes in and messes everybody up.
And it's like, oh, he's dead now. And with this, it's sort of like, it was the same feeling where it was like, oh, she shot him. Oh,
Well, I felt,
that's it. He's
I felt
dead.
bummed out at first because I thought he finally did kill Santa, and I was like, oh no, he's
I
impaled.
thought he killed
he's,
Santa for a minute.
he
Yeah.
got
I
shot
was
in
wondering-
the head, like
I was wondering if like he was gonna become Santa Claus or
Yeah, that's
something.
what I
You
thought.
know, I was like, where's this going?
Maybe he
That would've
and
been
Mrs.
hilarious.
Claus would hook up. It would go
Yeah.
to the next generation.
Yeah, it was like you know
If she's
like
into
Time
transvestite
Lords. They would
hookers.
just regenerate. You know.
and then he'd have to, like, maybe he unwillfully inherits the spirit of Christmas. Since
Yeah,
he's the
yeah,
one who
yeah.
offed Santa. That would be great.
like Chris actually was like hundreds of years ago was a bad guy.
Right.
You know, and
Well, like Tim Allen don't they?
Yeah, in the Santa Claus.
Yeah, because he accidentally kills Santa, he inherits
Yeah.
Santa.
becomes fat.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
so they knew they couldn't
But
do
he
that.
didn't murder
Yeah.
Santa. He
Yeah.
scared Santa. Santa slipped and fell off his
to
roof.
his death.
So he could still be a good guy.
They're doing literally comedy shots.
Yeah.
Like if you look at this without hearing anything, it's like you can
I
imagine
know.
one-liners going back and forth.
Yes.
You know, uh-oh, I stepped on the ice.
Wow.
They both club each other and both pass
Yeah.
out, you know, kind of thing.
But instead, it's just a gruesome, totally gratuitous, and ultimately unnecessary stabbing.
Yeah. Oof. Smacked in the face with a log. But yeah, let's see if this
then a good
angle
tackle,
where
too.
he impales him.
Yeah, look where
Yeah,
it comes
'cause
out of his pants.
It's almost like Chris has won the fight. The tide has turned, but then because I honestly forgot about that boot blade of his.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, okay. I see how he did it. So it's on the side of his leg.
Yeah.
It's strapped to it. I thought it was like in his shoe.
But it points
so that's
up,
why I was
though.
no, because
It comes up like
points
this.
up, and he brings his leg back toward his body and impales Santa Claus. So.
But there is no way that weapon could ever be useful in any other scenario but
Right.
this. I mean, if you were just in a fight with somebody,
Yeah.
you get two blades sticking up like this.
God, and this was a brutal part. Like, so Santa's impaled and he's spitting out blood.
He's
and then,
crawling away, and then you can tell he's gonna. You think he's gonna shoot him, but he kicks him over so you can face him.
Yeah.
Mrs. Claus could have gotten there a little sooner.
I was
I
hoping.
think so.
yeah,
What the
that's
hell
I
was she doing this whole
Yeah.
time?
Well, she had that gun. Maybe she was trying to like look up YouTube videos on how to load one of these fucking things.
It was a
You know?
flintlock. wasn't
There's
it?
got to be some hipster who built one out of a tin can, and he son of a
Yeah,
Damn, I will kill Santa Claus.
yeah. And there's a heart in the snow. And I was like,
That
does,
blood splatter is very
it's a
strategically.
perfect heart. And I was like, does that mean something?
it means it was spilled with
Yeah.
love.
Like,
Spilled with love.
And then bam, Mrs. Claus comes out of the house with a like a
and she's great. This shot and the way that she reacts and the way she runs.
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, it's a Coen Brothers movie. It's like the end of Fargo. You
Yeah, and
know,
Walton Goggins has been shot like in really.
And of course, he has the white jacket.
yeah.
So that it really makes the blood dramatic.
But he's fine.
Put on a white coat; it'll be more dramatic. But yeah,
Carry me out. Don't do it. Do it.
You half expect Billy Eichner to run up and be like, "Excuse me, would you call Santa Claus for $1? For $1?"
And of
That'd
course,
be great.
she's right behind the door. He loses his edge.
Which is just like Spies 101 Woodhouse.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. No special operator in the world doesn't clear behind the door.
she does sort of trick him though because she leaves a blood trail leading to another room. So he
Yeah.
thinks he's tracking her when really she comes out from behind the kitchen door and just blasts him. So,
With her antique gun.
yeah.
Yeah. Double barrel flintlock. or
Yeah.
something.
It's like,
It's got two.
Seriously,
got
I'm
two
pretty sure
barrels?
that's Captain
It's got-
Jack Sparrow's
it's got
gun
two
from
hammers.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
and she does say I'm sorry. And that
Well, because she's the one who's kept the spirit of Christmas alive
Mhm.
the entire time. When Chris is all downtrodden and sad and not really believing in himself anymore, she's the one who, even when he decides, like, I can't take the military contract, and she's like, no, of course you can't. That's not who we are. And she maintains that spirit for him.
but it totally, this whole scene now where it looks as though Chris is
you
dead.
killed my gun.
and you know, and Mrs. Claus is holding him. She's like, Chris, you know, and all the elves, and it's like, aren't the elves sitting there going, oh shit, did he get himself shot in the head again?
Again.
All right, well, shit, let's take him up to his room. He'll be okay in a couple days.
Yeah, well, my question is if his eye will regenerate, because it looks like he's
Yeah.
going to heal, but is
takes
he
time.
that magic? Like his
Yeah.
eyeball
Well,
grows back?
You know, sometimes the Force chooses.
The spirit of Christmas?
Yes, the
It
spirit
works
of
in
Christmas.
mysterious ways. Yes.
I love it.
And I am very glad that the 7 chose to go in and not
and take his wallet.
and just, but yeah, but he just takes the book
He fleeced him.
and that's it. I got a book.
Yeah.
I'm not fleecing him. Maybe he's got a bomb on him. He blew something up. Maybe he's got another bomb. Should we be concerned?
But why does he want this list? Like, it's his notebook, and he's very particular about it, and you never find out why. No, but seriously, it's just
Well done.
one of the other millions of things with no payoff. Because before he kills the postmaster, he's like, here, write down the address in the book, and he's about to make notes where Walton Goggins has. He goes, use a fresh page. So he's very particular about the notebook, but then why does 7 want it?
Yeah, exactly. Again, it's like, the bottom line is all the characters in this movie appear to have read the script.
Yeah.
So they know what to do, you know,
Yes.
and so the grandmother's feeling a lot perkier now.
Seems to be. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if I noticed very large chunks of money missing from my account that I didn't spend, then
She's
yeah.
fueled by rage.
Well, and so we come full circle with the grandma and Billy, because he notices that she's figured it out and he's going to be in trouble. So what's his solution?
He's gonna
Kill
just
her.
kill her
Kill her.
with the fentanyl that she had a bottle of.
Well, and it's all about, and there was a transition, so they sort of did a little something with this.
By the way, if you do this with fentanyl, you're gonna like breathe some of it in
You're
and
gonna
probably die.
Yeah. But who will look after the kid?
His
well,
maids and
that's
his
Dad's
staff
abandoned
members.
them.
that's another thing that there's no resolution to is the dad.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
whole
he
time,
never shows up.
yeah, it's like, well, there's got to be either the dad has to resolve himself, or the kids like gotta resolve the dad away.
Right.
But there's nothing. It's just now the kid's like in this living purgatory of knowing that Santa Claus is gonna come fuck him up
Yeah.
if he so much as makes somebody feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
well, and they.
Good luck.
Oh,
being
look
a
how awesome!
Oh, so
but,
sinister.
But then you see that shot.
teenager.
And the maid's just like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Fuck you, kid.
She just
right.
lets 2 strange grown-ups walk into a room with a little boy, with a
I'm
man
Santa Claus.
with
All
a
right,
bloody
come on
eye.
in.
Yeah.
Come on.
Wait,
come
are
on
you here
in.
for me or that little shit upstairs? The little shit. Go right
Come on
on
in.
in.
That's even how he's saved in Walton Goggins' phone. Did you guys notice that?
Little shit. Yeah.
But yeah, so they did something neat with the milk. So Chris starts out the movie and he's drinking hard liquor. Then when he sort of regains his spirit, he goes back to drinking milk along with eating all the cookies. And the grandma they start the movie
Liquor
where it's
and
like,
Alka-Seltzer.
where it's like the grandma, she requests a glass of milk in the beginning, and that's what he's gonna dose her with the fentanyl. But then Chris comes in and just chugs the entire thing because he's impervious to all.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but like we said, it's like it's been established if you shoot him, it hurts. It'll put him on the ground. You
Yeah, I
think
guess the
drinking
fentanyl wouldn't kill
fentanyl
him.
would have an effect? Or
yeah, at least an effect, like make him drowsy or something. In
I
the
guess
very
He's got a
least.
cast iron stomach.
I guess. Well, you know,
know.
you eat cookies made in so many
There you go.
kitchens
Yeah,
for
yeah.
so long. You're going to be
Sugar.
immune to everything.
Sugar is a known diffuser of fentanyl.
I mean, do you realize how many like bug parts he's eaten? Hairs.
He's kidding. Don't try
You
it.
know,
Yeah, kid.
semen, I'm sure, you know, spittle. On the cookies. I mean, come on. The guy eats like 1 million cookies a year.
Yeah.
Come
yeah,
on.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Well, I guess the fentanyl.
I'm glad
chugging
they
the
didn't make
milk.
the kid Jewish.
Oh god.
Oh no. You had to go there, didn't
did.
you?
Sweet
You had
Jesus.
to go there.
Oh, yeah. What about all the people who don't believe in Santa Claus? Because, you know what? Fuck it. I know.
Who knows? But yeah.
Ah.
So I think it was just a power play for him to show the kid that he can't be beaten, and then just warns him. And he gives Billy an actual lesson to take home with him. He's like, you don't understand what consequences are. The guy that you sent to kill me also thought that he lived outside of the world of consequences, and he found out otherwise. So
Yeah, he's buried with his lack of regard.
Lack of something. Yeah, it was pretty well written.
I think
if your grandmother meets an early grave, if Christine Crawford suffers so much as a cold, Anybody that crosses your path made to feel lesser or lower because of you.
I will
Oh,
fuck
God.
you up.
I'm coming back.
I'm coming back.
I will
okay.
rip you from. That's the best part.
I'll come for
I
you
will
while
rip you
sleep.
from your covers.
Yes, God.
Well, see, and
So mafioso of him.
but the thing is, this would work better if they hadn't put so much emphasis on the hitman, because it's like if the hitman had been like, "Yeah, I'm a bad guy," and then Santa Claus fucking ices him,
Right, right.
then he shows up with the kid, and it's like it's about Santa and the kid. But the way the
Yeah.
movie is, though, it's not about Santa and the kid. It's about Santa,
It's really
And
too
the
much hitman, too much
uh,
focus on him.
and there's
The
I kind
journey
of wanted
wasn't.
him to take the kid over his knee, though. That was a little part that just yank him and pull down his pants. and
sauce.
slap
I was
his
I was
ass.
hoping he was going to slap him straight across the face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, but that's the thing. What can you do? It's a kid. I mean,
Right.
Well,
Again,
that's where they draw the line, is that they didn't assassinate the little girl, and
Yeah.
Santa doesn't hurt the little boy.
if
I
it's a
just like-
Tarantino movie, you can do that.
Yeah.
You can kill the kid in a Tarantino movie.
I just like that Ruth saved the hamster. That means she had to go out in the snow.
Where
go
was
into
his
that
car?
car.
Yeah, where the fuck was his car?
She somehow
parked near
found
the
it.
entrance.
I guess they buried the car too, because I mean, they buried his ass somewhere out there, and
Yeah.
Yeah, they just like buried him in the woods or something.
well,
It's
they
so
can't
savage.
call the cops.
No.
You know,
Uh-uh.
somebody, you die here, you're buried here.
1 through 6 are buried there.
Yeah.
So they just put the assassin next to
Well, no,
them.
number
my
6, oosh, into space. No.
Number
One, chop her
number
head
8,
off.
Put him on a rotisserie. The 9th one's made out of jam.
Okay, so we can't really, because I think we all saw this for the
Yeah,
first
this is
time.
brand
Right,
new.
all
Yeah,
of us,
within the
yes.
past 24
No Alf to
hours.
Seinfeld.
As a movie,
We could probably do the recast game.
Oh, I'm not ready for that.
Okay, fine.
Not
I-
ready
yeah,
for that.
I
I got to
wouldn't-
get ready for that. This
Yeah.
one would be too hard.
yeah, this Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would-
it's there's nobody else. I mean, maybe
Yeah, who else could pull this off? Honestly,
that's a good question.
He's the right mixture of traits right now to play this role. So.
Paul Newman.
yeah.
Paul Newman.
That would've
Paul
been
Newman or
interesting.
Robert Redford could have pulled it off.
Because the thing is,
Jack
that
If he had
Lemmon.
gone all Jeremiah Johnson,
if you wanna go-
or Jack Lemmon. Yeah,
Jeremiah
Walter
Lemmon.
Matthau.
Yes.
Rat-a-tat-a-tat.
Steve Carell. If we're going the comedy route, Steve Carell.
I would say, oh shit, what's his name? Steve McQueen.
Oh hell yes!
Steve McQueen actually
Those blue eyes
Yeah,
of
that
his.
was
My
just,
God.
just that I can imagine Steve McQueen sitting down with a kid at the end with a big old beard and just scaring the living shit out of him.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody else, I don't.
Yeah,
none of-
everybody else was a good fit. I mean, despite the fact that the movie didn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense, I still love.
It was
Walton
enjoyable.
Goggins. I think
I-
it's
Yeah,
good.
I enjoyed it.
I'd sit and watch it again next
Oh,
Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah, if
This-
it came on TV.
Oh yeah.
But then again, it doesn't have enough action to be. We've already gone through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have.
It needs
have.
more.
We picked
It needs
to
more of
pieces.
something and less of a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, on that
I would give
bombshell,
it about a. I would give it like on just a
a
1 to
straight
10. I'd probably give it a 6.
on a regular
6.
scale. Yeah.
Nah, you know what?
Because
I'd
it's
give
not
it
out to
a.
Seinfeld.
I'd give it a 7, just as raw quality.
Okay. I'm gonna go in that neighborhood and give it a 6. Just on a regular scale.
I'm going to give it a 5, just to be a little
Okay.
different. I love you guys, but I don't want to be a copycat. I don't want to be a biter.
Well, and once again,
Biter?
Yeah, from the late 90s, that's a copycat. That's urban.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, a
What
biter.
what bussin' terms you teach me, Mr. Brown?
do we need to wrap?
Yes,
Yes.
let's get the hell out of
Okay.
here.
Let's go.
Oh no, I
I
meant
have-
rap. Like
I have gifts.
no, I was, but yes, let's do that too.
I have gifts to deliver tonight, gang.
All right, end this
He's got
misery
cookies to
for
bake.
us.
Okay. Well, hindsighters, it's been a journey, a very long, violence-filled journey. And we always appreciate you tuning in. So thank you for joining us for the kickoff of our holiday season. We appreciate you joining us for your drive time, your listening time, your assassinating Santa Claus time, if you can. This has been Darth, Adam, and Jason with Hindsight, and good night.